that's when my mom thought it was all a scam. I don't know if you remember talking to my mom all those years ago, but she thought you can't make money off video games. You can't do that.
I never understood that about parents. If my daughter, no, that'd be different. Let's say if I had a son.
It was a pretty early stage of the internet, though.
Yeah, but even then, it's like I understand being a parent, and I understand being worried about absolutely everything and protecting your kid at all costs, no matter what. But I never understood that because I remember this one kid won a faceplate, right? And I said, "What's your address? I'm gonna send it." He's like, "Oh, my dad thinks this is a scam," and I'm like, "I'm not asking you for money. I'm sending you something. What's your address? Give me your PO box." Like, come on, I need to get stuff on pay. Let's fucking do this shit. And then he's like, "Can you talk to my dad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "All right, so what did my son win? A faceplate for his Xbox. What does he have to do? Nothing. Just give me the address." But what does he have to give you? I'm like, nothing. He won, man. It's like a raffle. Explaining it to him. It's like a raffle. He just won something. He's like, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research on this. I'm like, all right, tell your son that you're going to have to do some research. If you guys want the faceplate, it's there. Let me know. I just didn't have the mental bandwidth to just sit there and try to explain something. But when it was a teammate, and I've had this conversation first with yours, and the only other time that I remember speaking to a parent that was going to join the team was Kristen, Seth's mom.
Really?
Yeah. At the time, Seth was with Quantic, and at the time, Hasser and I had just started Aeon Interactive, and
I thought that was the coolest thing back then. I was like, "Holy cow, Aeon!" I don't know why.
Yeah.
When you guys did that, I remember talking about it with Wolfpack and everything. Like we were like, "Holy cow, Aeon, this is sick," and we didn't really know what that meant. What did that mean, for you? Outside looking in, we thought it was the coolest thing ever, and then nothing.
Yeah, so Aeon Interactive, and this will be on another podcast when Hasser joins us, but Aeon Interactive was the first of its kind marketing agency / representation agency that we wanted to start within the gaming industry. Sponsorships were about to start coming, really heavy sponsorship was about to come in, so we wanted to align as far as what we're offering in terms for whatever. Mm-hmm. Originally, we came up with a whole bunch of different names, but Aeon sounded cool, and it was like Envy, OpTic, and then Instinct. But that sounded cooler than what it was, which was just Aeon Interactive. Yeah. There was no Instinct or any of that.
Aeon was a dope name.
It wasn't an acronym or anything. But yeah, anyway, so I talked to me and Hasser were on the phone with Kristen, talking about how this dude, I don't even remember his name, but he was, holding on to Seth with, you want to hold on to your star player, and little Seth, you wanted to join OpTic, and at the time, Hasser was like, well, I don't know if he's going to join OpTic, if he's going to join us. We'll let him make the decision. Let's try to get him out of this contract, or let's try to get him out of here. And I'm talking to Kristen, and then she's like, yeah, well, this guy's promising him the world and this, that. And I'm like, yo, no, look, this whole thing is real. Like the sponsorships behind this and everything that's happening, it's a real thing. And I try to ease her into the understanding of the whole thing, because she's new to this. She didn't understand what it would once become. And yeah, that was the other time that I talked, and then talking to your mom, it was the same thing. She was a little bit apprehensive of, okay, what is he joining, and what does he have to pay? What are his duties and responsibilities? I'm like, no, he's just making videos for his own, and that's what it is. That was pretty much it. If he uploads to OpTic Nation, he gets all of it minus 10% because of the taxes and the whole nine.
Yeah, that's rad. It's rad. And thank God it worked out, because it took a lot of convincing, especially for my brothers, to be like, yo, this, even if it is a scam, it is a good use of time.
Yeah.
He's sitting here, you're sitting there, you're learning a program from scratch.
Yeah.
Vegas, you're learning how to record, you're learning
Sony
how to
Vegas
edit.
is an editing program.
You're learning how to do early social media on at such a young age, and to be exposed to social media at a young age kind of toughens your skin up, especially at that time.
Absolutely.
When everything was just off limits, you know what I mean? It's not the way it is now.
Yeah, Judith and I always talk about the fact that we are lucky that social media didn't exist when we were growing up, and then the more we think about it, it's like, actually, social media is lucky that it wasn't around when we were growing up, because it was buck.
I'd imagine,
yeah. Imagine the freedom to do whatever the fuck you wanted without any repercussions of it ending on
Dude,
online.
The movies that came out back then would not be able to come out now.
No, I was watching one, and I don't know what it is, but within the first minute or so, somebody dropped the F word for the derogatory term for the other F word, not fuck, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, whatever, we won't get into it, but yeah, it was bad. And I'm talking about, we were just talking about a YouTuber that said that for $5 or for something that he would R his mom. He was grape his mom for a headset or something. And I'm like, at the time, I understand the comedy side of that. In comedy, you're able to say, oh, easy, you're not even. Anyway, but in those times, like, you're allowed to say something. Comedians, for the most part, I am a firm believer that if it's, as long as it's in a comedic setting, you know, there's no limits. Everything. There's nothing's off limits. You can joke about everything because it's a joke, right? As long as there's a true purpose and meaning behind the comedy, and there's cleverness around it, you know, it's good. You know,
if you go to a comedy show, you really can't be like offended, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know, I just can't. But anyway, so your mom ended up allowing you to play.
Gave me the A-OK to go ahead and play and just get lost in the sauce of OpTic and YouTube back then. And that was the reign, you know. I met Ashley, I met Predator, I met Apostle, I met Rated, I met all these guys, and we just sat there and we just played stupid amounts of video games together. And like, I'll always have those memories. And the best part is, I have so many of those memories recorded on my YouTube channel that I could just go back and I could just visit, because
relive them. Yeah, I
didn't like hang out with my friends a lot in high school, because as soon as I found this, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I'm gonna just sit here and I'm gonna just indulge myself in that.